My book, my version of reality. At Michelle Obama, still sitting still. Queen emoji. Forever a queen, we stand. Miss Moore, Tim Twirl. Absolutely beautiful. You are a champ, but gorgeous. Period. You look amazing, friend. Can you respond with a heart emoji? This is your color from Cynthia Bailey. Yes, beauty, brains, and class. Those girls are so ghetto and classless. I was so embarrassed looking at Nene and Portia. Can you respond it? I was too. You've definitely won me over this season. Nothing but realness, strength, and beauty coming from you. I agree, you showed a lot of class. Now we know why they all stay pressed. The real queen of Atlanta. I didn't think you could get any more flawless. That color on you is everything. Take your foot off their necks. Gorgeous, you are so smart. I love everything about you and Brooklyn. Yes, yellow is your color. Undisputed queen. That yellow looks amazing on you. Barbie doll. I normally don't say nothing, but no one on the Housewives can mess with you, sister. Had to say it. I concur, and that's why she struggles with relationships on the show. They are not in her league, and they know it. Kenya, you were so poised completely throughout the reunion, unlike others who were performing for camera time. You were the only real actress. However, there were some auditioning for roles shading. They responded, amen. Kenya, you absolutely maintained your composure during this reunion. Never shouted, never used profanity, and still spoke your truth. There were some uncomfortable moments, but you sat there and took it like a lady. Hats off to you. Kenya responded, thank you, sis. You handled yourself quite well during the season 12 reunion. You are a grown, intelligent woman who's capable of seeing people for who they truly are. You don't have to accept anyone's fake apologies. Continue to do you. That's why we love you. I stand by you. Love you, queen. Kenya responded with a heart emoji. What's up, my Fina Lefts? It's Miss Fina D coming to you all from Vienna Entertainment News. So I just thought that the part 3 episode, as someone who's a part of, Tin Twirl and the Kenya Moore, supporter group. I just thought, oh my gosh, we are about to kick our feet up, eat some popcorn or whatever, and just lay back and enjoy this reunion, because at least it's about to be one episode that is not a drag Kenya episode. One episode that Andy Cohen and the producers are not biased. One episode that our girl Kenya Moore back can rest, because I know it is bleeding from literally carrying the entire season. I just thought it was about to be a Nene / Giovanna exposed episode. I just thought my girl Kenya Moore was done. After everything she's been through this season and everything she's done for the Real Housewives of Atlanta this season. Now, don't get me wrong, the other girls are there, they did their thing, but who's trending every single Sunday? Kenya Moore. Good or bad, whatever the case might be, that woman even breathed and she makes the news. So I just thought, okay, we have one Sunday that Kenya Moore is not going to be emotionally and verbally abused, where she have to defend herself and then clap back. Remember, people can drag her all they want, but when she opened her mouth, then oh my gosh, Kenya said this. I just thought, okay, I'm excited. Let's watch this episode, and boy, was I wrong. It was Kenya, 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 until the almost very end, and then Giovanna pops up and she didn't do much, okay? Speaking of Yo-Yo, I won't be talking about her much in this video because I did a separate video about Yovana, Snakegate, and what Candy had to say. I just posted that video. It's the last video I posted on this channel, so it should be very easy to find, but I will also include the link to that video in the description below. If you watched the episode, of course, Kenya again, Portia Williams, desperate. Oh my gosh, I did a separate video on Portia Williams called Portia DePon Williams. Okay, go ahead and watch that. It's on the Real Housewives of Atlanta playlist and the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 12 reunion playlist. I understand that the check from the Real Housewives of Atlanta is some of these girls' biggest check that they see, yearly. I get it. But then again, I'm not surprised if Portia could sell her soul and diss her own real life best friend, Shamia, for a check. If Portia could sell her soul an entire season and repeat on camera that a woman was allegedly going to put drugs in her drink and rape her. If Portia can do all of that, then why is anybody shocked that she's treating Kenya Moore this way and that she's over here defending in leaks a woman who's dragged her so badly that she's setting herself up for the next season? And I get it. But my thing is, I'm glad that everything happened the way that it did. It's all over social media. And I'm sure because Portia is always on these blog, pages. She sees them. When I tell you she's being dragged for being the flip-flopper that she is, for being a pawn, I mean, they are dragging her. Oh, Portia the pawn. White chicks is using her. Portia the pawn, laughing my bleep off. I'll be glad when Portia gets a bleeping brain. Portia the pawn. All she did was keep up with the lies. I want Nene to remember how Portia held her down at the reunion and not get mad at Lil Sis and dog her publicly as she has done in the past. Oh, it's gonna come. Watch. Portia the pawn for sure. It's definitely an alliance and not a friendship when you agree with everything a person does. Kenya is still trying her best to hold back on Portia, which makes me think she really did want to be in a better place with her. I pray that Kenya doesn't entertain a beef with her next season. Let Portia the pawn figure out an actual storyline for herself. Look at Portia being the pawn. As usual, you would think she would have learned from Phaedra. Now remember, I just said that I did a completely separate video on Portia, okay? Portia is being called Portia the Pawn because that's what Kenya Moore called her. And Nene is being called, Punk because what Kenya Moore called Nene. So instead of Big Sis, Low Sis, their new nickname is Punk and Punk. Yeah, it's so silly. But anyways, I'm not going to read anymore because everything I just read is in the other video, okay? I'm just giving you a little snippet, okay? Because social media did not play. They are not here for Portia. So even though Portia tried her hardest to make Kenya Moore look like this terrible person, she ended up exposing herself. So we're going to move on from, Portia because I did a separate video, like I said, on her, all right? Now, just in case this video goes up before that video, just know that the video is still coming, so hang in there with me, okay? Because I'm debating on which video to post first. Why you keep posting every other video but the one that we're looking for? So just in case this one goes up before Portia, just hang in there with me. The Portia video is coming. I want to talk about quickly the Cookie Lady situation. Now, I always use 150 because, it just sounds like extra, okay? But I've done countless of videos on this Cookie Lady situation. So if you want to get caught up on everything, go to the Real Housewives of Atlanta playlist and also the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 12 reunion playlist, okay? But I do love what Candy did, the fact that Candy stayed on the topic and pressed Cynthia Bailey, okay? And even though Cynthia Bailey had a second clear chance to speak up and say, I actually told Tanya, okay? I told Tanya the same day Kenya and I left the Cookie Lady spot. I told Tanya, she still didn't. For those of you who are confused, let me just break it down. Okay, it's going to be a detailed video as always, so get some popcorn, get your drinks, and just chill. So, Tanya behaved like this whole cookie lady situation was a surprise to her in Toronto at the table. She kept asking Kenya more questions because Tanya was intentionally looking for an issue with Kenya because she knew aligning herself with Kenya and attempting to have a fake beef with Kenya was her only way to have any type of relevance on this show. Because Cynthia Bailey already told Tanya in Atlanta, the same day she and Kenya met the cookie lady with Brooklyn, she said she called Tanya and told her, we just met this lady. But even at the reunion, Tanya still continued to lie and say Candy, Cynthia, and Kenya were the only three people who knew. That was Cynthia Bailey's moment to say, okay, Tanya, I've been protecting you this whole season. I've been cool, but yet you are still continuing with this lie, so I'm not going to do it anymore. Guys, I told Tanya the same day Kenya and I met the cookie lady. I called Tanya and told her what happened.
People want to know why you never told Tanya prior to that situation or whatever. But it's just like, it wasn't really for you to say, or what?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, and here's a little exclusive I'll give you. Okay, on some real. To be honest with you, I was like kind of feeling some kind of way about it. I was like, you know what? I don't know if this is gonna ever see the light of day, but I know how tricky things can be on this show. I was like, let me just have a little insurance policy over here. End up being some bullshit. So to be honest with you, that day I did mention, I called Tanya and I mentioned, I was like, some lady saying that she knows better, whatever. But again, she didn't really think it was a big deal. I didn't think it was a big deal. And that was it. I never thought we was going to hear from it again. She knew a lot more than she is alleging that she knew. And I gave her as much as heads up on everything that I knew when I knew it. And that's what you didn't see on the show.
Well, that's nice of you. All right.
Well, that's what I do, honey. I know some people think I'm a horrible person, honey, but we had shot that scene months and months ago, and Tanya's known everything regarding the cookie lady. Any information I had, Tanya has always known it, so she's never blindsided by me in any way, and she knows that.
So Tanya knew about this lady way before Toronto. So everything she did at that table when Kenya was talking was an act. And that's the reason why she kept asking Kenya questions, because she intentionally was looking for an issue with Kenya. Now, Cynthia Bailey had that opportunity to shut Tanya down and once again defend her friend Kenya Moore. But did she do it? No. She sat there pretending again. So I'm glad that Candy called her out and said, Cynthia, what you did was worse than what Kenya did. Because she still had a second chance to speak up and defend her friend, and she still did nothing. Because you know why? Had she spoke up, it would have made her look like, oh, so you two were a part of the lie. So you call yourself Kenya Moore friend, yet you sat there and behaved like Tanya being surprised was this big deal when you already knew. And that's the reason why Tanya said she doesn't have any problems with Cynthia, because she and Cynthia in production playing this whole thing. So why am I going to be upset with someone who helped him get a storyline? Now, I know that people were focused on Tanya being ambushed. Once again, that just tells you how it doesn't matter if these girls are her friends, the Candy and, the Cynthia and, the Eva. They're still tone deaf to how badly Kenya Moore is treated. They were focused on Tanya, and they were focused on Tanya being ambushed. Not once did anybody say, wait a minute, forget Tanya for a second. You, as Kenya Moore's best friend, Tut, bringing a complete stranger to her daughter's party, her daughter introduction party, was a good idea.
This is another thing. I think Portia was really trying to get some clarity of my involvement in it. I've always said from the beginning, I absolutely said in a scene for the cookie lady to come to Brooklyn's party. I've never denied that. It was Kiki at that time. It was way early in the filming. Tanya's not a housewife. I didn't really think it was ever going to be a thing, but I said it. I've always said I said it.
But you didn't care about ruining her daughter party and taking a complete stranger talking about, oh, you're pretty, you should come to the party. Really? And you thought Kenya Moore's daughter party was the appropriate place for two grown women to have a discussion about a man stepping out of his relationship allegedly. And no one even thought about that to say, oh my gosh. Because when Candy said, Cynthia, that's even worse, what you did, I thought she was talking about bringing a random woman to your best friend daughter party to discuss somebody else's man cheating. That wasn't the time and the place. No, she was talking about Tanya being ambushed. I said, and once again, nobody cared about Kenya. The tea that Cynthia Bailey spilled to Candy when she was on, her YouTube channel about, I told Tanya the same day. Like, yeah, we are at the end of the season, and she still did not reveal that to Kenya, because Kenya was still referring to Cynthia did not tell her that she told Tanya in Toronto. No, girl, she told Tanya when y'all was still in Atlanta, Georgia, before your Toronto trip. So Cynthia is worse. I'm not saying Cynthia isn't a good person, but at least when Kenya Moore is coming, you know she's coming. She's not a backstabber. See, if you really look deeper into it, what Cynthia did was way worse. But once again, everything was lost in translation. When it comes to Kenya Moore, they would play flashbacks. They will spend 10 hours. They will make sure the point is driven all the way through and the viewers understand every single motive and what they're trying to prove. But when it comes to other people, they either cut it out, go to commercial, don't really get to the bottom of everything because they want to confuse the viewers because of their bias against Kenya Moore. They don't like her, but she's good for their ratings. So they will continue to use her for money and the ratings. Yes, she's getting a check, but what they are getting compared to what she's getting paid, exactly. So I can't wait for the day our girls just say, you know what, it's been real, I quit, okay? The check is amazing, but it's not worth it. Also, another part that was cut out, this story that's going around, it's been going around for a while, but recently it picked up again. Nene and this guy named Rodney. Kenya told Nene, so I guess you deserve Greg messing with the help. Kenya also brought up the fact that Greg wasn't the only one doing wrong in the marriage, that Nene was and is allegedly messing around with a guy named Rodney. However, once again, Bravo cut that out. Kenya Moore broke everything down that these girls did while she wasn't on the show. Marlo even sat there and lied and said, I never said you should pee on a stick. How many times have I repeated that video over and over again of Marlo saying Kenya should pee on a stick?
Everybody, please, just so that y'all won't be getting this girl this money and thinking that she's pregnant, have her come up there and pee on the EPT. She need to pee on the stick. You need to have her go in the bathroom. She need to make sure she don't have nothing on. She need to just be naked. Kenya's so sick, she might have it in her ears. Have her just naked, gloves on, just like she's taking a drug test, and pee on the stick before she been to con somebody about being pregnant. Lord, and if she plan on that, I'd be so mad. See, I don't owe her an apology. I still don't think she's pregnant until I see that she's pregnant. If she is pregnant, I wish her nothing but the best. She may go back, but listen, that could be a fake stomach. They got fake blood stomachs everywhere. She a fake man, so I wouldn't be surprised. No, but I mean, if she is, I wish her nothing but the best. We're gonna see those on. Let's wait and see if we see a little baby come. Baby come, I wish her nothing but the best. Till then, I don't like.
So when Portia Williams made a comment about Kenya just did a Color Purple monologue and all of America was confused, that's why she said that. So Andy and his people left that part in there because they thought it was funny and was important, but completely cut out every single thing Kenya said to expose Nene and Marlo. And then Andy is shocked that Nene is walking off the set. Why are you shocked? She walked off the set, you gave her a raise. She beat up production and put them in the hospital with a chipped tooth, allegedly. Y'all gave her a raise. According to Portia, she hit her in the stomach while she was pregnant. Y'all gave Nene a raise. She walked off the set in Greece. Y'all gave her a raise. Y'all cut out scenes. Y'all do all of these things to still protect her, and then wonder why you helped creating the beast. No matter how disgusting the producers and Andy and all of them are to Kenya Moore, she is still there doing her job. She's on time. She sits through every reunion. She's not going on social media bashing production. She's not trying to sue them. She's not doing any of these things. And yet, y'all still trying to drag the woman who's helping the show. You would think Andy and his people would sit back and say, you know what? We need to stop this BS. Kenya Moore comes to work on time. Kenya Moore have given us everything. Her family, she's been an open book. She's trending every Sunday. And what else does she have to do? Yet y'all want to continue to protect the woman who's causing y'all money. I don't get it, but when I tell you social media got in that, Andy, they dragged him. I mean, come on. Don't be shocked that your network insisted in creating the beast that is Nene Leakes. But anyways, moving on. Queen Kenya Stone wrote or tweeted. So Kenya was talking to Portia and Shemia. Then Shemia walked away at some point. So Kenya walked over to Shemia to talk to her again. What does that have to do with Nene? So Kenya had a reason to go over and talk to Shemia. Kenya wasn't trying to provoke Nene. Nene jumped in the conversation, basically. Andy, you have provoked people many times. Kenya responded, and people have provoked me many times too, Andy. You better check his Kenya. Exactly. Bias Andy. Portia, shut the hell up. They said it, not me. They wrote it, not me. All you keep doing is trying to have a moment with Kenya, and you are not even making any sense. Meanwhile, Kenya is just calm, cool, and collected. Take a deep breath, Portia. Laughable, but no one has anything to say when Nene literally tried to provoke me by throwing food at me and threatening to spit on me and hucking up spit and saying she wishes she had spit on me, shaking my bleep head. Portia trying to make a point saying Kenya tried to provoke Nene after years of watching her actually get physical with others. That's how she carries herself. Not Kenya. Now, you already know that I had a lot to say about Portia actually chasing people behind buildings, beating them up, putting her hands on people who were not in her face, provoking her, who were not in her personal space at all. So, Andy, right there in production, should have taken that moment to say, Portia, we understand you're trying to prove that Kenya provoked people. At least she's never put her hands on people and shut Portia down and then ran Portia violent history. But did they do that? No. I think right there's one of the many reasons why Kenya Moore was just chilling and not going too hard when it comes to Portia. Because one, she doesn't care. You are not about to get a storyline out of Main Sweetheart. You can huff and puff and do backflips and try to follow this camera and try so hard, but I'm not going to give you the storyline that you're looking for. It's not going to happen. It's not coming from me. And that's why Kenya was just chilling and not giving Portia too much life. Okay, I'm not going to stay on that too much because like I said, I did do a separate video on Portia, which will be posted after this one. I also want to point out that even though Nene left the reunion and with everything she's done to Bravo, Andy was still trying to prove that Kenya Moore is a liar. That while we even arguing about if Nene's spit connected to Kenya, the fact that she even acted like going to spit on her, that in itself is disgusting. So the point that Andy was talking about, Kenya, you said Nene spit on you, when he's heard Kenya said it on Watch What Happens Live over and over again. I never said she spit on me. I said she attempted to in every single interview. And I love that Kenya called him out on it because even with Nene's disgusting behavior, he was still trying to excuse her behavior by trying to prove Kenya Moore lied and said Nene spit on her when Nene didn't. So I'm glad that she checked him on that point. So it was just interesting to me how they were all on mute when Kenya pointed out her almost being physically attacked a few times and all of the verbal abuse. They were all on mute, but yet want to yell and scream about Kenya provoking someone. Kenya spoke up a little bit and say, every single one of you who have so much to say and rolling your eyes, had Nene even attempted to spit on you, you know, her wig would have been on the floor or something like that. And Portia over there rolling her eyes. Andy's obsession to prove Kenya wrong and his hatred towards her is so disgusting to watch. You know, when this whole wig situation happened between Tanya and Kenya, Kenya was on Watch What Happens Live. And even though Andy, you know, placed his fingers in her hair before her natural hair, you know, Kenya simply saying to him, this is my natural hair, wasn't enough, wasn't believable. He felt like he had to pull on a black woman's hair. He had to touch her hair. He had to root her in order to believe that that woman, because the color of her skin is capable of growing the type of hair that she had, right? And then he goes on to then lie on Kenya. And so Kenya said, but I've never said that I don't wear wigs. I say it all the time. I say I use protective style. And Andy goes, that's not what you say on the show. You always claim your hair is all natural. She said, why would I claim my hair is always all natural when I've worn wigs at the reunions? He goes, well, we know that. But you know what? I'm going to pull the clip. I'm going to pull the proof. I'm going to prove you wrong. Did we see any clips of Andy proving Kenya wrong? Kenya could have reminded him and called him out on that. But Andy's a part of the production team. So had she pressed him, all he would have done, he would have picked a segment where Kenya said, I don't wear wigs, but sometimes I use it for a protective style. And he would have cut out a part where she said, I don't wear wigs, and then don't show the but, and then ran with it. And then Kenya felt like her business already got enough beating on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You know, she saw what they were doing, showed her interview with TMZ, but completely skipped her lunch at Sally Beauty, completely skipped her products being on the shelf, completely cut that out, showed TMZ literally in front of the building at her event, but did not show her event, okay? The reason why we saw all of Mark Daly charity events, because he was embarrassing Kenya, okay? As long as it's embarrassing Kenya, we will get to see from the beginning to the end, okay? Also, the Shamia comment and tweet that I just read, didn't I say that? I said that. I didn't have to see the clip to say that. I said they showed Kenya walking towards Shamia. They cut out the entire scene and then showed Kenya next to Nene. How did she get next to Nene? Can we see her walking all the way? They cut it out because Kenya walked towards Shamia because she was having a conversation about this whole text message issue with Shamia. And then Nene, desperately looking for a moment with Kenya, added herself in it. My thing is to the Bravo producers who sucked. Oh my gosh. This season was so terrible and disgusting. Like the desperation to make Kenya Moore look like the villain. And trust me, I'm not excusing Kenya Moore's behavior. But normally, Kenya Moore is responding. Now, I will understand if people did absolutely nothing to her and she just responded the way that she did. Every single time Kenya Moore have done anything on this show, she's retaliating. A few more points that I want to make before I end it. Kenya also talked about the little tea I spilled in the Lying Tanya video about Tanya being the other woman. Allegedly, Paul was engaged to somebody else when he met Tanya and he left his fiance for Tanya. Kenya also talked about that in the reunion. Production also cut that out because, you know, Tanya is Miss Perfect and they don't want to show her in the light of being the other woman. Okay, but go to the Lying Tanya video on the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 12 reunion playlist to watch that video. Also on Candy Speak on It, she was encouraging Kenya to have a do-over with Tanya. It's sad that Candy is refusing to learn. When people show you who they are, believe them, especially someone who went through this whole rape allegation situation with Portia and Phaedra. For Kenya to be so nice to Tanya, not because of a check, not because of rival cameras, for Kenya to take her under her wing and shared IVF information with her, trying to help her and Paul, have a child, because Tanya been trying for a while, pointing her in the right directions and all of that. And then for Tanya to come on the show and use that against Kenya, a woman who went through her own process and battles and almost died in the process of having a child. For Tanya to use that against Kenya, to make it look like Kenya was being mean to her about not being a mother in IVF, forget the wig, because that was the bigger issue. But that's a sensitive subject to Kenya, so I completely understand why Kenya focused on the wig and not the IVF, because Kenya lied flat out on Kenya. And that's when people started giving her the side eye, like, why would you lie like that? So no, this person left a comment on Kenya's page. Candy needs to stop making you having conversations with your enemies. Please, shaking my head. You don't need to have any conversations with Jigsaw. Lord Jesus. Tanya, she did on purpose. She lied on you about the IVF conversation you had with her. Now, as a team tour, we good. Kenya responded, agreed. So Kenya knows what's going on. She sees everything that's going on. I absolutely agree with that person. Leave Tanya exactly where she is. Candy, please stop doing that. You wanted Kenya to kiss Nene, you know what? And look at what Nene is doing to you. Dragging you every chance she can get. Leave Kenya alone. Whoever she chooses to be friends with, let her do it. Stop trying to force her like she's a child. But hey, at the end of the day, you read the comments with me. You saw it in the beginning of the video. Kenya still came out on top, and that's why they're mad. They've tried everything to break this woman, and yet she's still the #1 trending person on the show. She's still respected. She still came out on top. The people who you see trying to drag her are those who are upset that through everything they've done to her, they still cannot break her spirit. That's a strong woman right there. For all of you who's been, in my DMs, you should know the drill by now. I never post my reviews on Sunday. I always post it on Tuesday or Wednesday, okay? So I'm on time, all right? But overall, I'm glad the season is over. Finally, our girl Kenya Moore can go and relax. And I'm wishing her well, because her back needs healing and all of that, because she did an amazing job carrying this season. Other ladies did their thing, but Kenya, you did that, girl. And you know what? Even though we don't want you on the show because of how biased they are and how Bravo treats you, after this season, go back next season, collect your pay raise and your amazing, coins in check. Anymore, I am wishing you the best. Yes, to season 13, and I'm wishing all of the ladies the best. Set yourself up and bounce. The end of here, my final loves. Thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also turn on notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.